You bring this.
They don't need a man who's got it made. Always looking for that renegade. I calls it like I sees it. A spade is a spade. A good man is a thing of yesterday. Yeah.
Welcome to our podcast, Sean.
Welcome to our podcast, Chris. How
Good
are
to
you?
be here. Good. How are you?
Pretty good shape for the shape I'm in.
Yeah, good, good.
Yeah, yeah,
Is that one you use often?
I do.
Yeah,
It's a good statement. It's true.
pretty good shape for the shape I'm in. Do you believe it all the time when you say it?
I do lately. Yeah. I'm in pretty
Okay,
good shape for
good.
the shape I'm in, man.
All
Like,
right.
I can't say I'm doing great. I'm missing a leg, but you know what? I walked today for a half hour. I really want my leg. They won't give it to me yet, but
Mm-hmm.
there's lots. But I did get some positive news that I think there's a pretty good chance I have it before the end of the month. Uh,
Great.
So, we got some
Awesome.
problems we have to watch, so it can't be guaranteed. There's some things we're unknowns. But anyway, I'm trying to stay positive. It's, I've been a little down lately, but I'll tell you, when I put that leg on and stand up, I feel like a new man. It feels great to stand
Nice.
there. Yeah, it
Yeah.
really does. So,
So it's just the freedom of having it at home and being able to be mobile. Is that the,
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I have to leave it at the hospital where the guys have it. And
yeah,
I get it. If you
yeah,
take it home, it's not just about falling, it's about
yeah.
using it too much. Like when I first get my leg, I'm probably only going to be allowed to use it for a half an hour, like 4 times a day.
Right.
Your leg has to build up to it. And if you don't follow those rules, you
Mm-hmm.
can misshape your leg. You can cause blisters and sores and they might take your leg away for 3 months or something. And I don't want that. Once I got it, I don't want to give it back. So, yeah.
Right. So do you think that you followed direction well?
I've been doing everything well. I
Right.
I
So
am I am well ahead of the curve on this leg. Like they can't walking is not the issue. They said I am so far ahead of everyone where I should be walking. Like I'm walking. It's not that.
yeah.
But I did
No.
got to do sorry, but
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
you have to follow everything though. It's like they're watching everything you're doing, not the walking. Like
Mm,
when you get there, they don't help you with anything. They give you your leg and I have to put on my silicone thing and then put my leg on and then pull my other sock up over it all in a certain way and then there's
mm,
socks that change the shape of my leg or the width of my leg and I decide if I need that or not need it and they got to make sure even how I sit down and stand up they want to make sure I'm doing everything the way I'm supposed to be doing it. um
right.
and those are it's like a little test you didn't know you were taking. Like I didn't
Right, right,
realize all that, but
right.
I got it now. I got it figured out. So
It's like an observed training program that you're
hmm.
not really aware that you're observed. But and you said it in the past. The assumption is that, and the reason why I asked, like, do you follow direction well, is presumably some people get the leg home and they just get all gung ho and they start running around the house and whatever happens happens and they're like okay and then I'm assuming that that'll cause issues and you have to kind of go back and so
Absolutely. The way the girl that the owner told me when I first met her, she said, I can give you your leg right away, whatever. But she
mm,
said, you'll be back here in a month saying, here's my leg. I can't use this. She said,
right.
and it's not just walking, it's how you walk, it's how long you walk, it's for life, right? So I don't follow directions well sometimes. I am a little stubborn. I don't do everything I'm supposed to do.
Right.
But I am following directions on this one. I want this one, man. This is the big one to me. So.
Right. Yeah, and that's interesting. I mean, there's obviously stigmas around men like reading instructions, for example, or asking for directions, or
Mhm.
all this stupid stuff, right? That
Yep.
for whatever reason, men decide to they get stubborn, they get pig-headed, they do the things they're just, I'm doing it my way, right? And it's like, but obviously there are benefits to following certain protocols and certain direction and
Yeah,
And it's funny
I've never read instructions on anything in my life. I refuse. I get something, I'll figure it out, It's just
because it
stupid.
worked. Yeah,
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible.
yeah,
It's like when I pulled the dishwasher out of the wall and sparks started flying.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You're supposed to turn the fuse panel off and do
and
yeah,
unhook some wires, things
yeah,
like that. But you know,
yeah,
I've never been anything that can't get fixed by a good pull or a good push, Just give it a
yeah.
rip and it'll work.
Well, yeah. There's certainly ways to do things. Some are better, some are worse. And it's funny because while I was saying that about following instructions, I was thinking about our podcast maybe an hour ago, and I feel like I should say this at the beginning of every podcast, or we should say this. These are our opinions. They are in no way. I mean, there are a few facts in them. There's some perspective. There's some opinion, but really, at the end of the day, we're just we're trying to offer some advice that might help a few guys out there, and we're trying to come up with topics that might be relevant and helpful. So, but
Yeah, listen,
don't take it
we're just a
as
couple
law.
chivalrous guys doing our best. That's all we're doing. Or a
That's
couple
all we're
guys
doing.
trying to become chivalrous. I don't know what it is, but
That's it. That's it.
I
We
it's
did
funny. I was thinking that today too. It's funny you said that because
it. Were you?
I was, honest to goodness, I was like, these aren't expert opinions, but I think we've always framed it the right way. Um,
Mm,
we are putting ourselves out there. I mean, we tell personal stories, personal feelings,
mm,
and we're hoping
yeah.
that someone relates to it. And we've both learned from going to support groups of different kinds
Yeah.
that just knowing you're not alone and other people are having these same thoughts and feelings, it's always
Yeah.
helped me, so I'm going to assume it's helping somebody else. So
It's helping both of us. And so, yeah, hopefully that's the goal. We're trying to be of service,
what
talking
can we
about
do?
last week's
What can we do?
last week's topics. And we talked a little bit about being of service before we started here, and we were just going to reflect on service. But both of us are kind of in a place. We're we're a little bit housebound. I'm kind of housebound lately, so I mean I'm of minor service to some people when I go out. I live in a small town, so I try to like smile at people, say hello to people, the little things, open doors, do that kind of stuff. Just have a little conversation with the lady at the grocery store. So that's small acts of service, which I always try to do. Yeah, I mean, I try to do stuff around the house to make sure everyone else's lives are good that live with me. I'm doing a little bit of coaching, as we've talked about on the last few episodes. I'm mostly coaching with other coaches, but I think there's a little bit of service in that. They get hours, I get hours. So a little bit of service there, but it does always feel good to do a little bit of service. So, yeah, that's just my reflection on
Yeah,
service from
listen,
the last
you
episode.
you you feed the cat. You do what you got to do. You're servicing Pico and
Yeah,
Spanky and stuff.
yeah, exactly.
I know I don't have Pico's permission to mention his name, but anyway, I did. I apologize.
Yeah,
I'll get
that's
his written consent later. Uh,
probably fine. Yeah,
his paw print. Aw.
yeah,
No, exactly. I'm in a pretty selfish part of my life right now, and selfish isn't the right word, but I mean, I'm trying to walk. I'm trying to get a new leg. It's tiring. It's
hmm
exhausting mentally and physically. I mean, a half an hour of walking on my leg wipes me out. Like
yeah,
I got out of the hospital today in my wheelchair, and I was out of breath, and it feels like I hadn't done much, but I tried to walk faster than I was trying to really walk fast. And
mm,
you don't notice until you sit down, and it's just like someone punches you in the stomach. So, but I do what I can. I haven't been to my group, but I've been helping the kid that runs it,
yeah,
and I try to make sure the house is neat for my wife. And I've been cooking supper all week, and like today, I came home and I got prepared supper for tonight, and I ran the dishwasher, and I made the ice, and it's just little stuff. I'm trying to make her life easier if I can help. Um,
yeah,
I'm helping out a
and,
coach that you recommended me to. She needs some hours, so she's coaching me, and it's going to help
right,
her help me, and
yeah,
it's not
and
earth shattering. It is what it is.
well, and we talked about it. Service of yourself is good too. If you're, we talked about that trying to pour water into other people's cups when your cup is empty. So
Yeah.
if you're working on filling up your own cup, there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you feel like it's selfish, but selfish has a weird connotation because it's important to make sure that you do take care of yourself, and
Yeah,
that can
listen,
sometimes that's the priority.
my cup is not full right now, but I'm
Yeah,
trying. I'm trying.
yeah,
So,
that's all
but
you
yeah,
can
it
do.
was it was I heard a couple good comments on it from last week. I think it was an interesting one. I enjoyed it. But I think we got a good topic this week to talk about.
Yeah,
The
Yeah.
This week we are calling it Values and Finding Purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
They kind of went hand in hand. We were going to do two separate, but I feel like kind of when you define your values a little bit, it helps you get on track for finding your purpose in a lot of ways. So
yes, sir.
I think they tie in nicely.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of this is personal, as we just talked about, but I looked into things a little bit, and
Yeah.
it's funny how much when you research it, value and finding your purpose does intersect with each other a lot. So I
Yeah.
think it's
Yeah,
pretty.
for sure. Yeah.
Do you have a definition of these two things?
I do. I'll do values first.
Okay.
Values are the principles and standards that govern your behavior and decision making.
Okay.
I'll expand on that one a little bit because there's a little. Values are the deeply held principles, beliefs, and standards that shape how you perceive the world, make decisions, and determine what is right, meaningful, and worth pursuing.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's such a small word, but it's a big definition,
yeah,
isn't it? It means a
yeah.
lot. Pretty
Yeah, and the
interesting.
pursuing part I think leads into purpose. And purpose is the reason for which something is done or created or for which something exists. That's kind of straightforward. And then a couple of others, a person's sense of resolve or determination. And then finally, purpose is the ongoing commitment to live in alignment with your values while directing your energy towards something meaningful that contributes beyond yourself.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
lot, man. It's a
right?
lot. It's very
Yeah,
good. I like it.
yeah, yeah.
Because finding purpose, I think finding purpose is again, selfish is the word of the day. It's not the word I want, but it's something we are doing for ourselves, right? I can't find purpose for you. I have
Hmm.
to find purpose for myself. Now, finding
No,
purpose for me might be helping you, but
yeah, yeah,
still got to be my purpose, right? So it's something you have to figure out. You got to really figure it out. It does. I don't think it just
yeah.
comes to us naturally. I don't think you just start being a purpose. I think you got to figure it out. I think it takes some effort.
It does. I think, I'm always envious of some people that sort of seem to fall into it and they're just like, it's like, it's like musicians and artists. It's like you figure out that suddenly you can play a guitar and you become you
Yeah,
become Eddie Van Halen, like, and your purpose is to give music to the world. But so I think, yeah, for some people, I think it comes easier than for others. And you mentioned you can't find purpose for other people, but like I know, even just as a step parent, and I'm sure know as a parent that sometimes when your child is kind of wandering a little bit, you want to help them try to find a purpose, right?
you got that right.
And I think I had that a little bit for in my own life where I was a little aimless kind of after university and stuff. And my dad was retiring and he came to me and said, do you want to buy a business and work together? And, he gave me in a way a sense of purpose for many years. Like my sense of purpose was attached to Schaumburg Supplies because that was my job. And that's another little weird side angle of like sometimes purpose, like a lot of times purpose is tied to our job
Absolutely. Absolutely.
or being a parent or, I mean,
No,
often,
you,
right?
when you said kids, I thought about mine immediately because especially my youngest son, who's very successful now, but in university, he kept changing directions. And
Right.
and I know we were always a little concerned because we thought, oh, maybe you should push through when things get hard and not change direction. But I don't think it's because it was hard. He couldn't figure out what he wanted to do. But
Right.
he found his way. He was a little
Yeah.
lost for a bit, I thought, but then he
Hmm.
found his way and he's got a great wife and a great home and a great job and in what
Yeah.
he's still looking for his purpose, in my opinion, because he's always looking for maybe something he would like better or whatever. But
Yeah.
with me, it's a little different because I was a father at 19. So my
Mm.
purpose was kind of laid out in front of me pretty freaking quick. Like
Right.
I had to take care of this son and my wife and
Right.
I had to figure out how to make a family and work for my dad, which I didn't really want to do, but I was so scared I couldn't support them. So I did have I just said you can't. I just said you have to find your own purpose, but I guess that's not true. Sometimes our purpose is accidentally laid out in front of us. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think that the thing about purpose in the sense of being a parent is that it does evolve because of course your kids grow up and then your purpose as far as they go changes. Eventually they move out and then yeah, you're still their parent, but you're
Oh,
not
and an empty nest is a
you're
whole new.
detached.
You got to find a whole new purpose. We've been empty nesters
Totally.
for years, and I don't think we've ever really figured out what that means. It's been years, and I still don't think that
Yeah,
we have really. We still almost feel like our kids are going to come back, like it's not going
yeah.
to happen. They make more money than we do. They have bigger lives than we do, and I think we're kind of stuck in a rut where we kind of act like we still have all their stuff here. You've been here, like everything's here. Like this house needs
Yeah,
cluttered so much.
yeah.
I don't think we moved on from what we were. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think that that's an interesting evolution in that because I know I remember I don't even know if I know anybody specifically, but maybe guys that my dad do. They were career men. They stayed in the same company for many years, not unlike you. And then they retire and they don't know what the fuck to do with themselves. They're just their whole purpose was working. And it really was working. It wasn't like they were, they weren't cooking or they weren't cleaning, they weren't doing
Right.
all the other things. If you do like some of those things, yeah, okay, when you retire, maybe you get more into cooking or you get like there's all these things. And it's a sort of like when you can get really attached to being a parent or being, a career person and
Yeah, and
sometimes,
sometimes I think parents get fortunate because they get a bunch of grandkids and they're keeping their grandkids and their life keeps
right,
revolving.
right,
Ours hasn't
yeah,
gone that way.
yeah,
We wanted that, but it didn't. And
yeah.
and my father-in-law did just that. He was in the insurance business his whole life, was good at it. He worked for London Life, and he retired. And I remember he bought all these woodworking stuff and tools and saws, and he was going to do all this stuff and cupboards. And I'm not knocking him. He didn't do it. He
Yeah.
his daily he goes to coffee and you
Hmm.
listen, he
Yeah.
goes to church and he does their finances stuff he was always doing anyway, but he
Yeah.
never really found a purpose past that. Then he lost my mother-in-law's wife, and then he I think he was even lost even further. I mean, I don't know. I don't think he listens to this, and I don't care if he does. I always felt a little bad because he's in his 90s now, or it's close to it anyway. I don't think he's gonna find a ton of purpose at this point. So
But maybe he realized that he didn't really value woodworking or something. It wasn't like something he needed to do every day. And he was just like, all right, well,
absolutely.
so
Listen, he
um
bought a camp and he goes up there on the weekends with his son that still lives with them and he does
right.
stuff. I don't
Yeah.
mean he's sitting around twiddling his thumbs. I
Yeah.
think he had big plans that for whatever reasons didn't happen. He's never confided it in me, so I'm just speculating. So
Yeah. Just to circle back and then and we can move on a little bit onto some examples. But values are important when you're like have a tough decision to make or when you're under pressure or stress and they're kind of ways that you operate, I guess. Versus purpose is kind of like, yeah, it's not necessarily a job title, I think is kind of like it's more. It's kind of it can evolve as you evolve, as you change. And but I think purpose um matters when you're kind of feeling lost or directionless for sure, right? Or when you're going through something hard. It's important to have a purpose, right? And we were talking a bit about that just right now with where we both are kind of just
yeah,
following.
and the purpose is not a goal because
No, it's a path
a
for
goal
sure.
can be completed. Like
Yeah, yeah,
a purpose is like an ongoing orientation.
absolutely.
It's a reason to get up in the morning, and it
Yeah,
withstands setbacks or successes. It's permanent.
absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
it's really interesting.
Yeah,
It's not a goal. Um, I think it's a word that sometimes we get confused on.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it can be just something little, like every day that you're kind of practicing too, I mean, there are plenty of spiritual people whose purpose like is enlightenment or peace, internal peace, or it's not about a job title. It's just about feeling peaceful every day. I mean, that can be your purpose in life.
Right. I've said it the first podcast. I said my purpose was to find peace of mind. I mean, I never did, but that's
There
my
you
purpose.
go. Right.
I want that to be
Right.
my purpose. It's funny though, because I think human beings kind of have two questions that we kind of live by, and it's how should I live and why should I live?
Right. Yeah.
That covers a lot because it's why I should live is maybe, your kids, your wives, and that, and how you should live is how you treat those people. And I think we always looked at that as kind of like two different things. But I actually think
Well,
it's two sides of the
yeah.
same coin. You know what I mean? Like I think
Well,
they do intersect.
I think it's an incredible statement because it really like the how is your values and the why is your purpose. Like I think
Exactly.
you're basically summarizing the what we're talking about.
Right. Yeah, that's what I think.
How is like, how do I operate every day? What are my values? And the why is like really what is my purpose? And I think I don't know if everybody does, but I think a lot of people go through a midlife. I mean, we everybody used to call it a midlife crisis, but it's a realization at some point in your life where your purpose somehow is like, okay, what legacy am I leaving behind? Like, am I just gonna like grind it out at this 9 to 5 job that I don't really love just to make money, just to have the house, just to keep up with the Joneses, or am I really like, or am I gonna move to India and become a Buddhist monk? Like that, people, people do it, right? Of course.
I think a lot of people do it because
Yeah, I mean, I think you and I both are examples of people who were on a a trajectory that was like, okay, this is not going to work. I can't be an
Exactly.
opioid addict. I can't be an alcoholic. I am not gonna fucking, this isn't gonna work
Nope.
out in the long run.
No, and it's funny how for a while you just kind of are just moving forward, no purpose. But you're just didn't even and to anyone looking at my life for a while look like, oh, he's killing it,
Yeah,
and I wasn't
yeah.
killing it.
Well,
But you can't you gotta have your values, core values, in my opinion, to have a purpose. Like you
hmm
can't find lasting purpose without core values because values are kind of the I don't want to sound too, but values are kind of the compass that make the destination meaningful. You know what I mean?
no question.
Like,
Yeah, that's
so
a great
that's
way
why
to
they
look at it.
these two subjects intersect so much.
Totally, totally. Yeah, and if your values are, again, I don't want to like, I'm not pointing my finger or saying if, but if your values are wealth and fame and da 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 da. Like eventually you realize like it's just not fulfilling. Like we've all met wealthy people who you think, oh my God, you must be so happy. And they're totally not at all. Like,
Absolutely. I mean, the problem with I'm going to say modern life for the lack of a better term is
yeah,
that we're bombarded with like all kinds of metrics that like external stuff that we
yeah,
don't like I don't know like I wrote down some stuff like salary, status, likes,
yeah.
followers, all new
Oh yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
awards. These are not
yeah,
values, these are proxies. These are filling in for it. You
yeah,
said midlife crisis. I wrote that down. The burnout of a high achiever,
yeah.
the quiet despair of a retiree who has everything and nothing
Right.
because these are built on borrowed values. They're not theirs.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like that, borrowed values. I looked that
yeah,
up. So,
yeah. And
I'm just going to leave a couple
yeah,
examples and I want to
no,
hear
no,
what you have to
go,
say.
go.
But
Yeah.
so, like, example, if anyone wonders what I'm talking about, a value would be mastery and competence, where a
Mm-hmm.
proxy is a high salary or a job title. So
Yeah,
that high salary and job title are filling in for mastery and competence, where you
yeah.
like a real master at something or something that's really good at something. I mean, it's not a job title, man.
Yeah, no,
You know,
I don't know any guy who's not envious of some guy who's like a kung fu double black belt
exactly.
because he's mastered it. He's put in the 10,000 hours and he's like, you like that's the thing. Like it,
Or us growing up, you said it. What guy didn't want to be Eddie Van Halen? I mean,
yeah,
yeah, he
yeah.
made it was his
He
job.
mastered the
He
guitar.
was a
Yeah,
master. That wasn't his
yeah.
job. He was a
Because
master.
he had the values of discipline and integrity and all these things that get you to that, right? And
Absolutely. And just another couple quick, there's only a couple more.
yeah,
A value would be connection and
mm,
belonging. Whereas
Hmm.
the proxy for that would be a number of social media followers.
Right.
Not the same thing.
No.
Um, I like this one. A value is security and stability, where a
Hmm.
proxy is owning a large house or having a specific bank account balance.
Mm.
That
Yeah.
doesn't mean security and stability. There's
Yeah.
lots of guys that have uh, people live in trailers or in a mobile home or a van or like I mean like a, that have a.
Yeah.
I say it all the time. I see people with a lot less than me that look a lot happier than me.
100%. I mean, yeah, like it's all fine and dandy to have a giant house on the hill, but if you're scrambling every month to pay your mortgage and you're in full on like you're just living outside of your means, there's no like just to look good on the outside, and that's that superficiality, that's that shell that you think is kind of a protective thing, but it's a
No.
house of cards. It's a house of cards.
I became a prisoner. The more I made, the more I
Yeah,
got, the more I spent. And then
yeah,
I was all of a sudden, I realized that I had set this level up that I was a
yeah,
prisoner to paying that. I was a
yeah.
prisoner to it. And then
Hmm.
I didn't have purpose. I was being told what to do by my debtors, the people that I had to pay. The car, I had
Yeah,
the two
yeah.
cars, the motorcycle, and the house, and I was just and I was trying to be a big shot, and I didn't have the mind to be a big shot, and I didn't have any purpose. I was lost. I was lost because those were proxies. They weren't values.
Well, but in general, society, at least Western culture, sees these things as necessary in order to be an upstanding member of society. And the thing about our values is when do we really start to learn them? We learn them from our parents. So if
Yes.
our parents' values are you have to have a motorcycle and you have to have a big house and you have to get married and you have to do this and you have to be like all these things, then we just go with that until we all of a sudden start formulating our own, and then there's this whole thing. Like I love my mom, rest in peace. Everybody on the planet would say she was kind and wonderful person, but frankly, she lied a lot. Like, and she taught me that lying was totally fine. So for years and years,
Fucking
I
A.
thought it was totally fine, and it's still like I'm still working on it. It's like holy shit. Like, and then my dad was on the other side of the spectrum where he was just so honest that it was like uncomfortable. He was
Right.
like brutally honest, and I'm like, oh my god, like so you're raised with these different values, and it takes time for some people, not for everybody, to figure out what your values are and what your purpose is. Because people, your parents inherently they start to help you along with your values and your purpose, and eventually you go out on your own. But sometimes you don't have the tools, you don't know, and it's just
Chris, I didn't start developing. You said something that just blew my mind, but I didn't start to finding out what my values were or my own purposes or values till I had teenagers. I mean, I had
yeah,
wife and kids who depended on
that's
me,
right,
and all
yeah,
I ever was trying to be was my father.
yes,
He was a
of course,
salesman. I
which
was a
is
salesman. He had a Harley.
totally
I had a
normal,
Harley. Everything he did, I did. I
right?
worshipped him. I was like, Dad was the coolest guy. I wanted to be like Dad. Everyone loved Dad. And then I
Absolutely,
realized that what his first off, he
yeah,
wasn't perfect, but that's not about today. I just realized that those weren't my values. And
yeah,
unfortunately, my relationship with my wife and my children, it suffered a lot because I didn't find out who I was. And
of
part of that
course,
is because I became a dad so young and I didn't get to go college and find my own way and become a whole
for
person
sure,
before I started all that, right? It was just
absolutely,
uh,
yeah,
anyway,
yeah,
but I definitely was yeah, my parents used
yeah,
to talk about other people, and I thought that was normal, like
yeah,
even the
yeah,
lying to each other and the bullshit. And luckily, I
right.
didn't follow all dad's things. I did have some moral compass more than him,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's our parents definitely can affect us big time, big time.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, we've talked about religion on the show before.
Mm,
You had some terrible experiences, but religion certainly help people form values, the Ten
absolutely.
Commandments and all, you know, thou shalt not kill, all these things, right? So there are so many different ways that we're affected by the people around us. Um, and how those things can affect your values. And again, you mentioned like going off to university and depending on the people you were surrounded by, maybe you met people that were creative and cultured and very independent, and those people around you are going to absolutely formulate, help you formulate who you become.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah. I
no question about it.
and it can go, like I guess I didn't realize it till this conversation. I guess I was pretty I was almost like gave into all kinds of peer pressure or pressure because like I did do what my dad did, but I also got in with the wrong people, which is a bad thing to say. I love a lot of those people to this day, but
Sure,
they were more into smoking weed and hanging out and jigging school and fucking around, and that's what
100%.
and I was this brilliant student, but I just
Yeah,
decided, I'll go do other
fuck it,
things, you know.
fuck it. Yeah,
Chris, I would do anything to be able to go back to high school. And what was wrong with high school? High school was a blast. There was girls and people and friends and people were offering you a free education. And like
yeah,
I'm like, oh no, this is a pain. I don't want
yeah.
this. I gotta go hang
We
out and play
just
cards.
most people, yeah, most people, most human beings at that age just do not have the skills and the tools to like really stand up for their own values. They go with the flow. It's much easier to stay in the pack and like,
Oh yeah,
than it is to go out on your own and like stand up for your own values and your own, all these things. And so it's a good opportunity to talk about. We'll talk about some unhealthy values and before we talk about some good
for sure.
examples of good healthy core values. But you named a few of them. Validation seeking. You need approval from others to feel worthy. That is not healthy. Ultimately, you want to trust that you are worthy as who you are. And that's it. Status obsession. That's another one. Instant gratification, especially nowadays. You choose the short-term pleasure over long-term fulfillment. Comparison. You're constantly measuring yourself against others. Self-indulgence, resentment, image over substance. You care more about how things look than what they really are, right?
Yeah,
There's like it's
that's
like
everybody these days.
people pleasing, greed, isolation. These are all examples of unhealthy values. And it's not like anybody really sets out to be an isolated person, but when you avoid connection because you don't feel so good about yourself or you don't want to be vulnerable or put yourself out there, it's not healthy. We know this. Like it's not. And so, a lot of the stuff that we were talking about that is very prevalent in today's society are they're just not healthy. They're not healthy values.
No, you said it. I know specific examples of people that put their life on Facebook, and you think
Mm.
they're living the best life ever. Their kids are perfect, their home's perfect, their husband's perfect, their wife's perfect, it's perfect, perfect.
Hmm. Yeah.
Know these people, and it's
Yeah.
95% lies. It's not true. But
Yeah.
why? And I'm not, their life, my life's probably no better. I'm not judging their life. I just don't
Sure.
understand why they're trying so hard to make these people that don't really care care.
Yeah.
Why would you care more about what some people on Facebook think than how good your children are actually doing or how good your relationship is? You care more what people think about that than what you're
Yeah.
actually doing. That is,
Yeah.
and that's not uncommon today. That's common today. It's like,
Very
look at
common.
this, look
Yeah.
at this. We're in a
Wow.
society we don't even understand. No generation has ever lived with this any kind of situation where we all just put our lives out there and go, look at this.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the ultimate invulnerability, right? I mean, everyone wants connection and wants to be liked. That is just human nature. Like
Right.
we want to be part of a community. Like whatever, 10,000 years ago, there was a clan of people like we learned this over centuries and centuries, right? But the disconnect or whatever what happens, somewhere along the way is that we also realize that if we're really really honest, like then there's going to be difficulty in that because people are going to say, well, why would you have your hair like that, why would you wear that sweater, like there's going to be criticism. And until you're like capable of really just being good with your own values and who you are and just showing up exactly like authentically, if you aren't like taught that at a young all the things, it's hard to do.
It's so hard. And I feel like I don't want to ever think I'm pointing the finger because I've done it, I do it. Like I put on I put on a few. I don't do it anywhere like I used to, but I put
Mm,
on like an update on how I'm doing with my leg, and I
mm,
get like 50 comments and 150 likes, and it makes me
mm.
feel good. It
Of
does.
course it does. Of course it
I
does.
don't, but then I feel, am I being like greedy? Am I like looking for this stuff? Like I'm like, oh, I need attention. I don't know it,
I,
but I know I'm in a bad way. I'm depressed at
well,
what's going on, and these comments and likes make me feel good. So I think that's got
yeah.
to be a positive. I think it's a
I
real experience.
look, if you were like laying on the hood of your Lamborghini while you were doing it, doing like one of these, okay. But the reality is you're going through a difficult experience. You're sharing what you're doing. You're talking about the effects of diabetes, and that's a whole separate thing, right?
Right.
It's the like laying on a beach and I don't know. You know the difference. I mean, we
Well,
all know the
you see it in the
difference.
movies, like young girls laying on the couch, looking beautiful, all her makeup, her hair's perfect, and then she's obviously taking a picture of herself, and then she gets a picture, and it goes like, "Oh, my baby woke me up." Ah, like, come on.
Yeah,
First off, no one woke you up. No one
yeah,
wakes up looking like that. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
but it's like you're not fooling anybody, so why are we doing it? There's something in the culture, and that's not what today's topic's about. Not
yeah,
exactly, but
yeah.
I think social media, like
Mm.
one talks about, I think it's messing with a whole generation, including
Yeah,
me. It's not just I got messed up by Facebook and stuff. I didn't
yeah,
understand it, you know.
yeah,
And I've probably been too open. I'm being very humble, I know, but I am a very open book. I say too
yeah,
much. I just been that way. And my wife always says, Sean, people trust you because they trust you because you're open. You're honest. You say what you mean what you say. You're not hiding things. But
yeah.
sometimes I do lay awake at night wishing I didn't say quite so much. Sometimes I regret some of the stuff I say because I am too open, and I think it has cost me a few things here and there, but I think it's done more good than bad. I don't know.
I think being vulnerable and being open is hard. So when you do it and it's not readily accepted in society, then you have some like fear around saying the right thing. But if we were all able to communicate in a way that was just about what I feel as opposed to you did this and that kind of communication, then there's nothing wrong. I mean, it's only kind of cringy because people just aren't used to it. They're just not doing it as readily, right?
Right.
Um, it's just people aren't as open. They're guarded. They want to stay guarded, and so yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's
Yeah,
yeah,
it's complicated, you know,
it
and I
is.
think what happens even with this podcast, it hasn't been a lot, but sometimes I think, oh, maybe I said that wrong, or I remember
Mm,
we did one episode where it didn't come out exactly, and I didn't put
yeah,
it
yeah,
out. But
yeah.
I also know that we're sitting here in the moment. So not
Yeah.
only we're not none of this is written down. We're talking off the top of our head. We're talking with our feelings, and maybe you might say something you wouldn't have said if you had thought about it longer. But how do you
Yeah,
have an open, good podcast if you're not going to be honest and open and have a real conversation? You know, I don't want to sit here with you and go, "Well, hi, Chris, how are you? Let me think. Well, we said
right.
this. I mean, no,
Yeah,
I don't care about that. That's
yeah,
not what I'm here to do. So,
yeah. We're all human beings. We all make mistakes. It's
I mean, and I know I was talking to our sponsors, and they like when we're like this. So, all our
right.
sponsors, yeah.
I did write a few things down, so that I have to be honest. So if
What?
we're gonna
No, I did. I
let's
did too because
let's
I was in a group one time. The guy taught me. He said, write down what you want to say and say what you wrote down. That way, you. It's not about saying the wrong thing. It's about making sure you say what you wanted to say.
yeah. I think preparation is a good core value.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna just touch on the 20. I got 20 examples of good, solid core values.
Awesome.
Integrity, doing the right thing even when no one is watching.
Mm.
Wow. Honesty, we just touched on that one. Discipline, and again, this is the long-term growth over the short-term comfort,
Mhm.
because that's what discipline. You don't become a double black belt in a week. It takes years. You have to be disciplined. Responsibility or responsible, courage, acting in the face of fear or uncertainty. It takes courage to quit drinking. It takes courage to walk on your new leg. It does. It does. There's no doubt.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of fear. So courage is a great one. Respect, treating yourself with respect and others with dignity. That's a good one. Loyalty. You've talked about that being one of your strongest core values. I know that's
I
one that
think
you,
so.
yeah.
It's a big one.
Compassion, showing empathy and care for others. Accountability, holding yourself to a high standard. And yeah, there's lots of high stand. I mean, high standards. Yeah, there's
Well,
really high anyway. Yeah,
it's a huge category. I mean,
yeah. Growth, committing to continuous self improvement. For me, that's definitely one of the bigger ones.
you're doing a good job at it.
Humility, gratitude, perseverance, authenticity,
Yeah, I love authenticity. I think that's a
being
good one.
true to who you are. And that's it. That, again, that you're going to risk being criticized. We've talked about this on other episodes where people who gain fame, if they're authentic, sometimes they're different, they're unique, they get criticized, but you stick to your guns. You just there's
Yeah.
something really powerful in that, right?
Well, not everyone's going to like you. And
No,
and that
no.
I learned that in my career. I remember when I was going along and I thought everyone liked me, and then all of a sudden I hear a couple of things that I'm like, what? It used to drive me crazy. Like, what do you mean they don't like me? What did I do? I'm like, I remember literally saying to somebody one day, I'm a good guy. What are you talking about? Like,
Right.
that person had
Yeah.
every right not to like me. Of course they
Some
don't like me. They're not like me, or maybe they're jealous of me, or maybe they hate me, or maybe
some people like bad guys,
right.
right?
Absolutely.
Think about it that
Absolutely.
way. Right. You're not a bad guy. So they
No.
what else? Authenticity, service. There you go.
Hmm.
Freedom, valuing independence and personal agency. There's a good one. We're getting a lot of
Wow. All
tie-ins
our
here.
old subjects coming back at us.
Justice, standing for fairness and what is right. Balance. That to me, this one's huge too. Prioritizing harmony across areas of your life. I mean, we've
Mm.
both been in times in our lives where there was so much imbalance, like just
Yeah.
so much imbalance.
Yeah.
Faith. I like that one too. Trusting in something greater than yourself. I know we talked about God because you have to talk about God in the programs.
Mhm.
I always tell you God is love. So if you just have faith in love, then you have faith. So and excellence, pursuing high standards in all areas of your life. Pretty good examples of core values.
They're fabulous examples, and I look through them and I see a lot of failures, in my opinion, of myself on a lot of those things. But I do see a couple that I think I've lived up to, and no
Yeah,
one's going to have all 20 of those. Maybe Batman or somebody, but I don't think any normal person's going to. But yeah, I mean, but you can look at that list. I'll speak for myself, and I start seeing all the ones where I know I think I failed myself.
yeah,
But I think I'd like to highlight more like the ones that I've done well at,
for
like.
sure. And there's always opportunity to keep working on it, right?
Yeah, but it helps to take a look at it because you can't if you don't know
Absolutely.
if you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
no, that's a great list. I like it. I like
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Have you got any unhealthy values?
Well, those I read those ones first. The comfort over growth, the
Oh, right.
entitlement, the avoidance. Yeah, yeah. Those are the
Well,
unhealthy ones.
I
Comparison.
I had a few of those too.
Yeah,
I was
we
looking
had a
at
good balance between healthy and unhealthy.
yeah, well, I saw one victimhood and isolation, and I thought, I've gotten in the victimhood one, the pity, like, like I've got a couple times after my strokes and my operations and my amputation where I just wanted pity, and
Right.
I loved the people feeling sorry for me and coming in, and my wife's best friend Marlene, she's done this for years. It's something Charlie Brown used to do, and I said I love when I always said I wanted people just rub my head and say "poor sweet baby." So she always does that when I'm in that mood. She goes, "Oh, poor sweet baby, you'll be okay."
Right. Right.
That's what I am, poor sweet baby. You'll live. But it's amazing how
Well,
as men, as a grown man, how I can turn into a child so quickly when I get in certain situations.
mm,
I just want to be
right.
treated like a child again. So.
Well, and that's you're going back to whatever core childhood stuff there.
Well, it hits us so hard. My mom used to just it was simple. She'd put my head on her lap and she would just rub her hand like this. over my ear, just rub my hair back over and over. And to this day, if I'm down, my wife does that. And it's what makes me feel better.
Right.
That's all. It's just a stupid little thing, but my mom did it, and I think she just did it. She wasn't thinking about it, but it made me feel better, and I still
Mm,
like it. So
hmm.
you never do it to me, but I wish you would. But
I'm
anyway.
not going to. I'm having a flashback to some British skit, and I think it was called. It was like you have to dial 999, and it's like the men's hotline for when men are sick. Like it was
Okay.
I think it was called the man flu or the man
Yeah,
cold
yeah.
or something. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. The man
called dial
called.
999. He's got a man cold. It's just like, oh
Well, it's
boy.
it's true. I get a cold and I'm like, oh my gosh, take care of me, get me soup, get me crackers, ginger ale. Oh, Shonda, I'm so sick. She gets the flu and she still goes to work, takes care of the house, takes care of the kids, just moves on, and she's just it's like it's just totally unbelievable.
I'm her. So there you go.
You're
So
her. Yeah.
we're not. I can't remember. I don't think in 18 years at Schaumburg Supplies that I miss a day sick. Not. I don't think one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
I
that's
do.
good.
I
That's a good core value. That's good.
honestly, dude, I just do the mind over matter thing. People are like, "Are you sick?" And I'm like, "No, no, I'm not sick." I go into full denial. I'm just like, "No, I'm not sick."
Well, we were talking about today, my wife and I today. It wasn't about this podcast, but she's got some employees, and she was. I said I was tired, and she started making fun of me, and she wasn't making fun of me, but she had an employee that literally called in and said, "Oh, I didn't sleep good last night. I'm not safe to drive. I can't come to work. You know,
Right,
she didn't sleep
right,
good." And I said, I remember going to furniture shows. I won't name names, but people that I was close to that would stay out drinking every night till 4 o'clock in the morning and be total bags of hammers. And they would show up for the sales meeting at 8 o'clock, looking sharp, bushy,
right,
bright-eyed and
right,
bushy-tailed, and move right on. They didn't call and say, "Oh, I had a rough night, can't come in." Like, yeah, right.
right.
Good luck.
Yeah,
Good luck. It's just
yeah.
I think that's a bit of a generational thing. I don't think any of us at our ages would call work and say, "I didn't sleep good, I'm not coming in." I don't think we'd even think about it.
No, I think, and I don't know. I go back to and this. I mean, I'll try to tie it back into this, but
Yeah, it is, I think.
I go back to the Bruce Lee thing, like never speak badly about yourself, and or it's just how you speak to yourself.
Right.
And the other one is it's from the Four Agreements.
Yes.
It's be impeccable with your word. And so it's impeccable. I've explained this on other. It's without sin. Don't speak badly about yourself. And I think honestly, with some of these core values, I'm not saying you should do this, but it's not the worst idea to just like if you don't really feel like you're a courageous person, to just say I'm courageous. Like honestly, we've talked about faking it until you make it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, even gratitude. We did a gratitude challenge for quite a long time. You
Yeah,
know,
it was great.
it's a great practice, and it's something that you can, yeah, you can just kind of like add it to your daily routine and just be grateful for whatever. Get waking up in the morning. I do great. I still do my gratitudes. I do it at morning and night. Usually when I go to bed, I just say thank you for the gift of this day and for all the experiences that I had. I got through another day. I mean,
Yep.
so yeah, there's definitely some, in talking about how you show up and how you kind of, there's good ways and bad ways. I'm not saying if you're not really tired, I don't know. It's a tricky one, but
No, it's tricky because I do think that a good thing that's happening today is we are paying a lot more attention to our mental health and how we're feeling. And I'm not saying these people don't have the right to call in sick if they are not feeling well and all that. But
mm,
you've got to be careful because maybe you calling in sick is really hurting your client or your customer or your boss or your job or someone who's depending
well,
on you. Like
yeah,
you're part of something that is important. Maybe you got to be really make sure you're there to show up unless
well,
you really can't.
yeah. And like, look, you can easily tie into values into this and say, look, is it are you valuing going into work as a priority over getting some rest? And I think there's certainly been days where I mean, I'm not like I said, I never miss a day of work, but I maybe I should backpedal on that. I don't know how honest that is, but there's certainly been times where you like don't go do something because you're not feeling great, and then like 2 hours later, you're laying on the couch going like, what am I doing? Like
Right.
I could have done this. Like
Right.
what am I like? It's kind of that like yeah, tough it out at times, and I don't think that there's some negative connotations with that, but sometimes
Yeah.
pushing through, you know,
Sometimes it's good. And it's not just about work. I had a saying, people would always laugh at me. I'd say my favorite plans are the ones that get canceled because I would always be like, make a plan, concert, a show, a movie, event, and I'd be like, oh, then it comes up and I'm like, I just want to stay home. I don't want to go. I don't want to do this.
right,
But
right,
if you push through, a lot of times you're happy you did push through. You're happy you went.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, it's not easy. It's not easy being a person. I mean, come on, it's
But
this
yeah,
stuff.
look, maybe you don't necessarily value going out to a gala. Like maybe that's just not your jam, and at some point you just decide, okay, I'm not really not into this. Like it's like,
Then what did I build
am
this
I
big
doing?
ball? I built this ballroom for nothing.
Am I doing this out of obligation or am I doing this out of, you know,
Right.
what I what I really value? I think
Maybe
that there's
stop making
something
the
in that.
plans or something. Like I, I've someone told me one time, and I've tried to live by the way since they told me, if you don't feel like doing something today, don't plan on it later on. It's not
Right.
like I would never go out tonight. I would never do that. But oh, you want? I'll do that in 3 weeks because 3 weeks is going to come. You're still going to be you. You're still not going to want to do it. So if you don't feel like doing
Yeah.
it now, you're not going to feel like doing it then.
Yeah.
Just try to be
Yeah.
honest,
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
yourself, if nothing
Yeah,
else.
for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, and there are definitely ways that you can kind of just like, we read the values list, but there are ways that you can work on discovering your values, right?
Yep.
Um, I mean, I think service is one of them. Like when you go out and you help others, I think if that lights you up, then that's certainly something that you can value. You can ask yourself things like, where am I wasting time?
Right.
Like I do value downtime and I value good movies and good shows. So I don't beat myself up. But we've all been had a day where you're like, okay, like 8 hours of TV. I have. Sorry, I shouldn't say we
I
all. I
have to.
shouldn't
I
speak for.
have to. I have
And
to.
you're like, what the fuck? Like, what did I do today? That was bad.
Yeah.
I find as far as like purpose. I find for me, I like to try to get the things that I want to purposefully do in a day out of the way early on. And then I don't want to delay those because I'm like, okay, if my purpose today is to like have some peace of mind, to feel calm, to learn something, then I read early, I pray early, I meditate early. If I want to exercise or my purpose is to be healthy and fit, making those choices, you get into a perpetual motion of,
Yeah.
okay, because yeah, when you're wasting time, yeah, you kind of like you get out of alignment somehow. You're like, oh, okay, this isn't aligning with with my values.
No, exactly. And exercise is a big one for me. If I don't do it early, I won't do it.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not, I don't want to do it after dinner. I don't want to do it then. Like I get it
no,
done in the morning.
no, I don't, and that's a challenge at times for sure. So yeah, get it out of the way. I find that's a good one
And
for
make
me.
and I like what you said about finding your purpose because you might not even know what's out there, but if you don't try a few different things, look at a few different things, you might discover how much you love doing something, a good thing,
Absolutely,
a charity thing, or whatever, and you've never even tried it. Like you
yeah.
got to try some stuff. And time we should do a podcast just on time because time is the one thing we cannot get back. We're all
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you're rich, poor, man, woman, they,
Mm-hmm.
them, whatever. We
Yeah.
cannot get time back. We won't get
No,
today back. And I wish
so
away time sometimes. I catch myself like just saying, I can't wait for spring. I can't wait till this. I can't wait till I
yeah.
can't wait. It's not a good way to be.
But
Just,
you're gonna love my love. I'm going back to this book at the end of this, but I'm gonna read something at the end, and it's exactly what you're saying. Like, yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff, all of this stuff, in fact, all of your, yeah, your purpose is like we talked about a bit of a path, but your values and your purpose are all like in this moment. Like I'm whatever value I have and whatever purpose I have, I am living it now. Like I can't whatever if I didn't do what I did yesterday, but yeah, they certainly can change over time based on how you get out there, how you go and try new things. I think you can get sort of stuck in a comfort zone of like, okay, here's my purpose, and I'm just stuck in it. Even, a job that you don't even really love because you have a fear of getting out of your comfort zone and not trying something new. But I think more and more people these days are very willing and able and doing it to change careers like every 3 to 5 years. It's like, yeah, no, I'm gonna move. Like the
They
days of
tell they tell kids
40
that
to
now.
50 year careers are over.
Yeah, they
Over.
tell kids you should be changing career like 8 times or something. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, I did the same thing since I was 19. Like, what are you talking about? But I was
Yeah.
scared. I was
Yeah.
always scared. And because I was scared, I never went and got the late education like when I was older. There's a whole bunch of things of lists of stuff that I was going to do that I never did. And you know what?
Yeah.
Now I'm 56 and I'm starting to feel like I might have, I don't know. It's
Don't
I don't
don't
know. You got
don't
zero
give up.
chance at a better past. I know that, but.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, I know we gotta probably wrap this up. Anything else you want to say before we say goodbye?
We're getting down there. I got some good quotes, of course. I
Excellent.
mean, I don't know if we get into the quotes.
Yeah, I love quotes.
Oh, there's some good ones here. The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away.
Oh, I like that one. Who said that? Does it say?
Pablo Picasso.
Really? That
Yeah.
surprises me. I didn't know he had quotes like that. That's a good quote.
Try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value.
Yeah, that goes along with that's exactly for today. That's perfect.
That's Albert Einstein.
Really? And he was such
Yeah.
a successful guy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. The purpose of life is not to be happy. It is to be useful, honorable, and compassionate. It's a
And
good
if
one, eh?
if you do all those, you'll probably be happy.
I would think so. It's true. It's a reverse psychology.
I hope so.
Efforts and courage are not enough without purpose and direction. John F. Kennedy.
Wow. Ask not what you can do for your country, but what you can your country. No, ask not what your
Yeah,
country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
yeah,
Yeah, that
that's
was
a good one.
that was a good quote.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Couple book recommendations. I mean, I've read Man's Search for Meaning. Of course, that one comes up a lot. Meditations is on the list. The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. I haven't read this, but I read the quick summary, and it's
Buddy,
the seven habits are
I read it when I was 19. My dad gave it to me. Stephen Covey, right?
yeah. So the
Yeah.
first one's be proactive. So this is like, go out there, try new things, like stay ahead of the curve. That's a great one. Begin with the end in mind. That's an interesting one, eh?
Yeah.
Put
Yeah.
first, and we just talked about this, put first things first. So prioritize what matters most and then execute with discipline. So like if you struggle to work out at night, get it done in the morning. This kind of stuff. I think that one's great. Think win-win. Seek mutual benefit, not one-sided success. I thought that was good too. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. So listen deeply before speaking. Synergize. I like that too. Great word.
Yeah.
Collaborate. Together is better than alone. And the last one is sharpen the saw. Continuously renew yourself,
Right.
mind, body, and spirit.
Right.
That's
Right.
so great. I
Yeah. Those
might have to read that
great.
one.
It's a great book. I read it in a business sense, but
Yeah.
it's a life sense too. It's a great book. Yeah.
I read this morning, so I'm just going to read it before
Okay.
we go here. It's from, and I recommend it again. It's a good book. It took me a little while to get started. I actually read about 50 pages and then I stopped and then I started again. I'm almost done now.
Okay.
But it's all about transforming self-sabotage into self-mastery. So it's about retraining the things that you're doing that you're just like it's what we just talked about, like with wasting time and just kind of getting out there and doing stuff with
Right.
value and curiosity and all this stuff. So I highlighted this morning because I was like, oh, this is so good. When you heal, you become stronger where you've been broken. You become grounded where you've been egotistical. You become responsible where you've been neglectful. You become more sensitive and able and conscious. You become more considerate. You are more empathetic. You are more mindful and more careful. I thought it was so good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It is so good.
So yeah, I mean, we're not talking about healing. I don't. It wasn't really tied
No,
into
but
today.
you got me thinking a lot because a lot of times I don't do stuff because I don't feel good. It's honest. That's because I haven't taken care of myself. I haven't sharpened the saw. I haven't done all that stuff. And like you said, if your
Yeah.
cup's not full, you can't give anyone a drink. And I think that's what happens when you don't take care of yourself. You'd never feel good, so you never want to do anything, you know? It's not
Well,
good. It's not a good way to be. It's
and
bad.
look, you can start. You can start with this list, the core values, and whatever. It doesn't. I don't think anybody should beat themselves up if they haven't been courageous, or they haven't been growing, or they haven't been of service. Like there's still opportunity to do that. And the other thing she says here, and I should have read this, but when you heal completely, you realize that there is nothing more important than being able to enjoy where you are right here and right now.
Yep.
That's just that's just the reality of everything.
It
It's
is. I mean,
all about the now.
there's nothing going on in anyone's life except right now. Whatever you're doing.
Absolutely.
Whatever you're doing. And we got a lot of things fortunate in our lives, both of us. We were born in great countries. We were born to families that had stuff, and we were brought up by basically good people with good values. And I think sometimes when I beat myself up, it's because I feel like I was offered so much. I was a 6'4" white English man. I mean, I had it. What chance? And I just I squandered a lot of my gifts and chances, but. There was reasons for a lot of it. That's a different conversation. I do want to recommend a book that my wife got me onto. I'm not through
Awesome.
it yet, but it's called Self-Compassion by Kristen Neff. And it's just
Okay.
so it says the proven power of being kind to yourself.
Beautiful.
And
Love it.
and I know you always tell me to be kind to myself. I hear that a lot. And
Yeah.
it's just so we must learn to treat ourselves as well as we wish to treat others. And
Absolutely.
I like that. It's the relentless pursuit of high self-esteem.
Absolutely. I love it.
Relentless self pursuit of high self-esteem. So yeah, I
You
understand why
you
she
are the best version of Sean Pauley that has ever lived. There you go.
there you go. That's horrifying. Um, but no, so listen, I hope you have a good weekend.
Thanks, you too. It's the Masters. I didn't even reflect on. I just quickly. I'll shout out to my
Oh,
dad.
sure.
My dad in heaven. Who
Absolutely.
passed away. He passed away yesterday, 13 years ago. I also went to the Masters 1 year later, 12 years ago. So really, kind of a weird thing. But his birthday is also this Sunday, so I get to like celebrate his death. I get to celebrate the Masters, which is on this weekend, and then I get to celebrate his birthday on Sunday. And we're actually doing a poetry reading in our home on Sunday morning, and I'm reading his one of his favorite poems that we read at his funeral from the Lord of the Rings. Maybe I'll videotape it and send it
Oh,
to you. So,
you should. Maybe we can
yeah,
put it on the podcast. There's a little link or something. That sounds awesome. It's funny because I was sitting watching something this week before we
yeah,
talked about any of that.
yeah,
And it said the Masters run this weekend. And I went, oh
yeah,
my God, Chris and his dad. And I almost tear up a little because it always makes me think of you guys and how
yeah.
much it meant to both of you. So I know it's going to be a good weekend for you, but I know it's going to be a lot of reflecting.
A
It's
hundred percent.
emotional, you know.
Yeah, and I'm not ashamed to say I had a few good cries yesterday. I'm
I
man
bet.
enough to say I cried, and it was tears of joy and sadness and all this stuff, and
If we can't cry
it was
over
all good.
our lost parents, there's something wrong with us. I mean,
Definitely, yeah,
my mom had a lot of bad things. She wasn't perfect by any means, but she loved me and I loved her. And
yeah,
that's all that
beautiful.
matters. I was her only son. She was my only mom. I mean,
There you go. Beautiful,
I was always a mama's boy, and that's just the way it's been. So, but I'll be
awesome.
thinking about you. I'll take, I don't want to bet, but I'm gonna on the Masters. I think probably Tiger Woods has got it this year. I figure he's probably the odds-on favorite.
Yeah, yeah,
He can
that'd
get
be
there.
great.
We
That's
should
bad.
do. What is wrong with that guy? Talk about having everything and blowing it. Come on, man.
Well, Gary Player talked a bit about him, and look, the guy's got so much pain every fucking day. I'm not shocked at all. Like Gary Player was just like, why don't you have a chauffeur? You have so much money. What are you driving anywhere for? Like, I feel for the guy. Like, look,
I do too. They said there was opiates, Percocet in his pocket, and
100%. The guy's in
that
pain. The
guy
guy's had like 25 operations on his legs, back surgeries, like,
and mental pain. I think he had a tough childhood.
tons.
I think that
100%.
he needs
100%.
therapy and support and friends.
Yeah.
And you talk about being in the public. I mean,
Honestly, I highly respect Tiger. If he's struggling. I've been there. As far as people like with discipline and like that guy is like he's like the mecca of discipline as far as golf goes.
he
Like,
changed the world. He
oh
changed
my God,
golf.
incredible. So
Golf ratings were like 70% whether Tiger was playing or not. I mean, he changed the whole
100%.
sport.
He's a
I worry
yeah.
about Tiger, and I won't get into it. I don't know if you ever noticed, but on all our podcasts, I put the suicide hotline just in case anyone's in trouble, and I worry about Tiger. It's just
Mm,
like guys like that,
yeah,
uh, money
yeah,
isn't fixing it. He needs some help. So
yeah.
maybe we should have him on as a guest next week. You never know.
That'd be great. Call him.
I will. I'll give it a
Yeah, all
shot.
right.
Never know.
We'll talk about pills and anyway, we're
He might be.
digressing.
I'm not joking. Maybe it'd be the best thing for him. Who knows?
Yeah, you never know.
Anyway, we're just talking
All
for
right.
now, but I do feel for the guy. Anyway, enjoy the
Yeah,
weekend. I'll be thinking about you. I'll text out to you anyway. But
I will. I
um,
will.
and
Thanks for today.
yeah, I love you, brother. Take care.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.
They don't need a man who's got it made. Always looking for that renegade. I calls it like I sees it. A spade is a spade. A good man is a thing of yesterday. Yeah.
All right. Be good,
You too. Yeah, you were shuffling papers. I thought you were gonna do like a Letterman thing where you just like throw your papers at the end of the show.
John Stewart.
All right. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
We're still here.
Sit,
What is
Ubu,
going
sit,
on?
dog.
Uh, all right. I'm gonna. Bye.
Bye.